Hello. Hi. Eh, Welcome this Sunday, February 9th. And I've got the table runner, the woven heart table runner that we worked on last week, hanging there. And it's almost ready to go on the sewing machine because I'd like to get it ready, um, have it finished quilting and bound by Valentine's Day. But we will see about that. So, how have you been this week? I hope you have been well, and I hope the weather is getting more moderate where you are. When I mention weather, I look out the window to see how it's looking out there today, and it's right nice here. It's funny, we had a 70-degree day on Tuesday, and then Wednesday it was like 45. So go figure that. But this is our funny weather that we get from what you can't mention, which is global warming, the climate change. But this is our new normal, everybody. So I'm just looking. I'm trying to decide if it's my computer or camera lens. So we shall see. But it is good to be here. I got frustrated this morning because it's like I can't ever catch up. I don't know if any of you are having that problem. It's kind of like being stuck in a nightmare where every day it's like, I still haven't gotten that done. Still haven't cleaned this room. It's starting to get to me. My frame room is getting kind of hard to walk in. There's so many things. So it's tricky. But I had Melanie remind me that I had no reminders on the calendar of our groups IO. So I did go and rectify that. So you'll get a Sunday. I didn't send it out to the group, but if you want to know, you can go and check. And I did get some good things done this week, which I'm real happy because it's really hard. And I think one of the hardest things about it is lately just getting over the holidays, and I'm not as energetic as I was, even though Mark and I are trying to go walking. I haven't been making my everyday commitment that I wanted. So I'm looking through real quick to make sure I have what important papers I need because I just dumped everything on the counter without going through it. So it's like, oops. But oh, yes, I did get a pattern done, so that is on the site, thank goodness. But I tell you what, there are just some times Mark and I we ate out. Well, we brought food home last night and it didn't agree with us. It was a little too heavy for us. So it was kind of a tough night. But anyway, this this wonderful Valentine table runner was so easy to make. And what looks like it's woven is just a 9 patch by using strips. And one strip is pink, red, pink. The other strip is red, pink, red. So then when you slice them and put them together, it makes a wonderful woven look. It was very easy. And then these pieces, the pink there and the red there, are rectangles that you use smaller squares on each corner. You sew a scant thread inside the diagonal line, and then you flip them over, cut the excess off, and it was very, very simple. And oh, thank you, Miss Bonnie. And it's on our groups IO so that you can go and get that pattern yourself. I first started to make a whole quilt pattern of it because I really do like the woven star look. But I said, Deb, you're having a hard time finishing things as they are now. It's a little warm. I'm having one of my summer moments, so I'm going to turn on this fan down here. I keep anywhere I go, any room I'm in, There's always a rescue fan. Thank goodness for rescue fans. Okay, so today I'm going to show you the progress on my Sparrow quilt. I've shown you the heart table runner, the woven heart. I've got the strip landscape pattern drawn out, and I've got it put on our Groups.io site, but I can send it to you. In fact, let me just remind you right here that my email is ourtime2quilt@twc.com. I got Melanie's pictures, so I'm excited about that. And if our Alberta comes on here, I need to tell her that her email to me did not include the photo of the quilt she made. So I'd like her to resend that because I love seeing what Miss Alberta does. I like seeing, pardon me, Mark came down here and very kindly adjusted my camera arm so it shouldn't drop on me anymore. All I have to do is ask him to do it, and he does it. Isn't that amazing? It's just one of those things you just, wow. You never take it for granted. It's a wonderful thing. So, and on today, I have my boho bead necklace that I made a few years ago. Whoa, oops, maybe not that part. Okay. And what you do is you use straws and you wrap them in fabrics and beads and ribbons and yarns, anything you want to make that bead. And then I included some denim fabric beads that I had made. So this necklace is all fabric, yarns, threads, and beads. And I dearly love it. And it's very simple and fun. And there is a special satisfaction about wearing something you made. So I like that. All right. Now, I'll go back to this to tell you the undersea landscape quilt is going to be finished because I do want to get that octopus, but I'm just not in the mood yet. So when I get back in the mood, the older I get, the harder it is to make myself do something I'm just not in the mood for. I keep having images of that mule, that donkey that my dad used to warn me about, that, the owner would have to hit it in the head with a 2x4. I don't want to become that donkey, but I kind of see similarities the older I get. Okay. I have my hand embroidery up, and I'm going to show you a couple stitches today. So I am getting there, just slowly. But the undersea landscape quilt's going to be finished later. I started to say, like next week, this month. I'm later. Then the stenciled fabric product I brought, project, that stenciled fabric with the circles. I brought back the paper puzzle pieces to show you how you can audition the placement of your blocks without having to crawl around on the floor or have a big design wall. So I will show you that again. Then I'll show you the progress with my new paints that I got from Jerry's Artorama. I was so pleased with not only the price, but the 2-day shipping. Now, his store is only a couple hours away. So understand, if you're across the country, it might take another day, but very fast service. I love it. Then I'm going to talk to you about one problem. I'm so excited about 3D hand embroidery, but there are a couple little things I've been thinking about lately. And when you look up patterns, please be careful. There is a rife of AI drawn hand embroidery patterns that are patterns that can't possibly be done. So if you pay for them, you're not going to get your money's worth, because there are only certain things we can do with hand stitches. Then let me me see. I've got a blouse. It's not even a blouse. It's a t-shirt that I got on a really good sale. It was long sleeved and crew neck. I don't like crew neck and long sleeves. I do not like. I always wear my sleeves folded up because I'm always seeming to have to wash my hands for some reason, and then I get my sleeves wet. Can't stand that. So I'll show you what I'm doing. And I had one of my iron-on that I'm eventually going to show you. And if you want to buy one for a couple of dollars, you can. But I did an iron-on because one of the ones I had taken, some of the letters around the edge had gotten rubbed off. So I just cut out the design and used it on my shirt. So I'll show you how good that looks. All righty. Then we are finally, I have to see if Miss Charlene comes today because I think the winner of our UFO special is either going to be between Bonnie or Charlene Lawson. So let me know if she's here because I need to get the number of projects each of you has completed so I can see who wins the gift certificate. But we're going to do the drawing for the patterns that I showed you 2 months ago. We're going to do it today, I promise. Okay, and then hopefully we're going to show everyone show and tell and try to finish up Marsha Han's very wonderful pictures from the Tucson Quilt Show. So we've got some good things planned, and I'm going to get busy and try not to talk too much. It is a problem I have. And this past week, a brother of mine turned 60. That's a big birthday. So happy birthday, Rick. And let's get busy. All right. I'll show you first. Well, I got to show you all kinds. I always want to show you everything all at once. Let me see who's here, and then I'll start showing you. Okay? So let's see. Who is the first one here today? Marsha was the first one here. Marsha Florm, thank you. You're such a sweetie. And thank you again for being our moderator today. So, and Bonnie's here. Hi, Miss Bonnie. Oh, Dan got sick. I'm sorry. I hope he feels better soon. We took our 2 little dogs to the vet the other day, and everyone at the vet's office had masks on, and we were kind of surprised by that. So Mark said, "Can I ask why all of you are wearing masks?" They said out of the 9 employees, 4 had COVID. And this, Mark went for his regular checkup and got a great report. It's so easy for him. I don't get it. But the doctor was telling him how the COVID and the flu are kind of joining forces and making for some very sick people. So please, when you can, Mark and I, knock on wood, have not. I shouldn't have done that. The dogs are like, someone's here. No, go lay down. And so Mark and I, as far as we know, have never had COVID. And we've gotten every booster that's available. In fact, they said this spring, any of y'all who get boosters, get one this spring because the summer, usually a new variant comes out in the summer. It's kind of a 2-season winter and summer kind of thing. So we're definitely going to do that. But I was told that one of the vets at the vet's office at the veterinary hospital gets every booster, and he got COVID too. So I'm going to be extra vigilant. So, especially because soon we'll be dealing with the bird flu, won't we? Anyway, all right, let's see who is here. And Lisa's here. Hi, sweetheart. I hope you're feeling better. I have been very worried that you would go into like bronchitis or something because you were that girl. I don't know how she did it. She packed all her car, got everything ready, came to the Myrtle Beach quilt party and got sick. I mean, she was sick right before she came, but she was very sick. And I felt so bad for her. So Mark and I had a little bit of a sore throat. Especially for me, it was like a week ago or a week and a half ago. But that's all we got. So, and I even did a COVID test just to make sure, and it was negative. But it's nice that we didn't get fully sick, just a little, sinus and a little bit of back of the throat. But he made us that big pot of tortilla soup. I think that was the cure. So here, let's see. Lisa's here. Laura's here. Hi, Miss Laura. It's so good to see you. Oh, now let me see. Oh, I love seeing all this chatting. You're great. You are great. Oh, yeah. Bonnie is a sharp cookie. She doesn't miss a trick. Let me tell you. Mitty's here. Hi, Miss Mitty, darling. I love when I see y'all. Oh boy, she's been working on Bonnie's been working on Dan's quilt, her black work, and the dream catcher. Her black work, sometimes you think it's like this big. It might only be 3 inches big. I don't know how she does it. It's amazing. So here's Dolores. Hi, sweetheart. Oh, you are just fine. We love our Dolores. She is such a wonderful artist. Pat is here. She's actually sewing. That's wonderful. We've had a good number of members lately who just have the blahs when it comes to getting things done. And I'm one of them. I kind of go up and down. Sometimes I feel really good about getting something done. Sometimes I just want to sit in a corner and drool. So I understand. Our Mary is here. Oh, Mary, pulling and hiding threads. I've never done that. You are so amazing. I know I need to do it. I just haven't done that. So it's so good to see all of you. Gosh, so good. Well, first thing I'm going to show you is this t-shirt I was telling you about. And it's a nice, big, roomy t-shirt that I got on sale for probably less than $6. And it was like an end of the season sale 2 years ago. And what I finally did, I tried wearing it, could not get used to the long sleeves, which got into everything. And so I just lopped them off. And this long sleeve, I have put a hem in. Just did a little hem by hand. Okay. Then I don't like anything up by my neck. I'm just real touchy. I don't like turtlenecks or anything. And so I took it, this had a crew neck. I took and I took off the facing, the little facing that's sewn around the collar, and took that loose, cut the neck down just a wee bit. So it's going to feel a lot more comfortable. Then, oh, I love bright and sunny things. Then I took, this is one of the iron on, let me see which way, turn it this way. This is one of the iron on decals that I have, and it was missing the letters. It said something about sewing, and it was missing some letters around the edge. So I just cut the design out, stuck it on a shirt. And so this way I can enjoy, I kind of just wear t-shirts and t-shorts around during the week. And it's nice to kind of fancy it up a little. So there is that t-shirt, and it's nice. It's a woman within t-shirt, and I like them because they're like 30 inches long, and they are nice and roomy for us bigger girls. So that I'm going to get finished. I'm stitching it by hand because with t-shirt material, any of you who've ever worked with any t-shirts, it's very easy to stretch it out. So that's why I'm hemming the sleeves by hand, and I'm putting the collar band back on the new collar shape. And luckily it is stretchy, so the band will reach down pretty easily. And I'm going to hand stitch it to just keep it from puckering, because t-shirts are notorious for puckering. Then, let's see. In the evening, after I've been sewing, I've been using my new paints to see how they work. And I'm still using some fabric medium. They tend to dry, they're full-bodied, high pigment, so they can tend to dry a little bit fast. So if I just add some regular fabric medium, it helps thin it. You can thin acrylic paints with water or fabric medium. The one problem about using water is it tends to break the bond of the acrylic medium that holds the pigments. So if you want to do what looks like a watercolor wash, then put a bunch like 60% water and 40% paint, acrylic paint, and you'll get a lovely watercolor wash. If you want the paint to stay thick and sit on the top edge instead of sinking in like watercolor, and you want it to sit there and have a gloss, then use textile medium or paint acrylic medium. Any medium would work. And so, ready to see the bright new colors? Here is what I did this week. It's all dots. All dots. So it was fun. And I just go on the computer, on Google, on the big Google machine, and go look up images of dot painting or dot painting mandalas. I think I might give this to my grandson. He's decorating a new room, and I think that's cool. But it's usually pretty easy. And I found something after I did this one that I'm putting. I've been watching some of the dot painters again, and she recommends using an all-surface. She likes using the Folk Art all-surface brand black paint, and she said it's indoor and outdoor. So it has a thicker body to it, and when you coat the surface, it smooths it better. It makes a smoother surface. When you have a smoother surface, then it's easier to make your dots and swirls, and they won't look wonky. So I've got to get some of that. But are you ready? There's the hardest one I've done to date. And I only use the metallic paints. For little accents like this dark blue. And that way you can see it better. It doesn't just all shine. Charlene is here. Good. Charlene, be thinking of how many projects you got done this year in the UFO challenge. I think you and Bonnie, if anybody else here participated, how many did you get done? And that way I can get you a gift certificate. But I really like this one. It's supposed to be like a snowflake. Now, it still has areas where I need to get better. I'll show you some of these. See how they're a little wibbly wobbly? It's still tricky. And I'll give you a secret. I take a fine line black marker and go in sometimes and try to straighten up the lines, because I put a lot of time and effort into it. And sometimes they do get a bit wonky. This time, though, I actually sometimes when I was going like off course, I took and washed the paint off and started again. So, but I do like this one. I think that's really pretty. And this took me a couple nights to do. Now, in thinking about that, thank you, Miss Bonnie. In thinking about this, I told Mark, this is why I love all kinds of arts and crafts. I really do. But it depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Mary, you're so funny. I love that. And I finally took my old nail polish off. It had been on for weeks and was looking nasty. And I happened to watch part of last week's show and went, oh, girl. So I jumped in and figured that out. But this is why I like this, because you can make a dot. A dot's pretty easy to make. The swirls are a little trickier, but most of this is just dots, 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 and more dots. Look at those tiny dots. The reason I like this is inexpensive, number one. The tools you can get different places for easily under $10. The paints you can buy just, the little 2-ounce bottles at the craft store. Hobby Lobby has some good prices. Although I don't shop there because they don't give their employees full insurance coverage. But they have good prices. Then I can get these frames. You look out there on the internet. I mean, you can find them. These are just what you call canvas panel boards. So they're on, I don't know whether it's a heavy cardboard or MDF or whatever, and it's a canvas stretched over it, glued on the back. And then I take the black paint and I put a couple coats of black paint, let it dry for days. So I do like a bunch of boards at a time. But I can get these so cheaply. And you can also use the plastic Christmas ornaments, put black paint on the inside, swirl it around, let it drain, let it dry for quite a while, and then you have a surface to do the painting. But I like it because it's relaxing. It's pretty straightforward. You just get that image that you're, looking. I get a kick. I only have the basic paints. I'm not buying all the colors. Then it would get expensive. And I like the challenge of trying to match the paints to the color on the image that I'm copying. So, but, if you have a problem doing that, then you buy what you want. But it's just something easy and simple, and it's not expensive, and I can give it as little gifts, or I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but they make me happy. And if I can do them inexpensively and get a lot of relaxation and enjoy out of just sitting, because I can't just sit still at night, and I can only crochet so much. Although I did in the last week put some more work into my English paper piecing, because Lisa and I are at some point going to start our newest something rose. I forgot now, our newest English paper piecing pattern. And I want to get the one I've got done before I start the other one. All righty. So I'll show you. I'm having a problem, Miss Bonnie. I don't have my container yet to put these in. And these little puppies keep the thread wants to come undone. So they're plastic. Now I can see that maybe the paper would hold onto the threads better. But I need to get one of those little section containers. All right. So let's first, before I show you the new pattern, I want you to see what I got done on the Sparrow quilt, because whoops, I need to move it over. Hold on just a second, please. And, okay. Here it is. It's a pretty wide one, as you can see. And I had a little hitch in my giddy up this week. Here is my Sparrow quilt. Thank you for the compliments, because I had gotten a little frustrated, wishing I had bought a slightly different hue of the background. But now 5 out of the 6 rows are done. And here they go. Oh, hi, Greenland Quilter. And honey, we're not going to take your country. Don't listen to the fools. So I promise we're not going to take it. I mean, y'all are busy with that volcano, or is that Iceland? No, that might be Iceland. Sorry, but we're not going to take your country. Okay, so here is what I've got: 5 rows, and the way things are going around here lately, you wouldn't want to be involved over here. No. So anyway, got 5 rows, 4 birds across. So I was working and realized, uh-oh, I'm out of sashing material. So I thought, oh no, how did that happen? Well, I looked back at my pattern and realized that the pattern doesn't call for sashing. I added sashing because I saw the teacher's quilt and I loved the pop of color that the cornerstones brought to it. So I just started cutting fabric to make sashing. And that wasn't in the original plan. So I told Mark, oops, I don't have enough fabric. I mean, I was thinking, pardon me, I'm gonna try to turn off this fan. It's getting cold out. Okay. So I was thinking, I shouldn't tell y'all this, but I've been known in the past to try to take and cobble together little odd bits of fabric because I ran out of fabric to finish a project. But you know what? I like this quilt, the Sparrow quilt, too much to do that. So I went ahead and ordered a half a yard from a vendor on Etsy, and hopefully it'll be here early this week. So, because I was like, oops, it wasn't supposed to have a sashing, so that's why you ran out. And so the one thing that bothers me is to pay as much for shipping as the half a yard of fabric. But what can you do? You know, you need the fabric. You want to finish the quilt. It's something I'm going to do. Teresa Djokovic is here. Yay! Oh, so good to see you, sweetheart. Oh, aren't those birds cute? And I'm trying to think of what to do with quilting them. Also, I have decided, I think I'm going to use the pink, but I might use this pale green. I'm going to make a flange inside the border. The border is about 4.5 inches. I'm going to make a flange. If you're not sure what a flange is, I'll show you real quick. You take your fabric, you fold it in half. You make it wide enough that you can put a good 1/4 inch seam allowance and flip it. And what you're going to end up with, try to picture this as sharp, sharply ironed. So right beside, let's say this is the border, you're going to have this flange that kind of, and it only thing that shows is at the most that much, but it's just a nice little touch. When I put it on this one, I'll show you again so you can actually see. But what you're going to do is you're going to lay it on the main body of the quilt with the fold at raw edges on the edge, the raw edge of the top and the flange. Lay it there with the fold towards the quilt. Then you lay your binding border on top of that. And then after you sew it, then you flip it back. And it's just kind of neat. I haven't done a flange in a long time. Some people put beads inside the flange and then sew on each side of the bead so it has a nice beaded border. That's not me. I'm going to be lucky to get this thing quilted as it is. But I've decided I like the cornerstone look so much that I am going. Alberta's here. Hi, sweetie. I was telling them to let me know when you got here because I never got your picture. You sent an email of a quilt you had just worked on. You sent it to me a little more than a week ago, and it didn't have a picture included. So if you could, at some point when you get a chance, if you could resend me that picture. I love seeing your quilts, and I love showing them off. So you were watching Joe the quilter, and he faces his quilt. Facing it is very good. It's just a little trickier, but you know what? I would try it because some things that have turned out that I thought were too tricky to do, I now love. So try it all, and even if you only make a little page size fabric sampler just to see what you think. So, because I have done that with some of my art quilts. I call it knife edge finish because you fold everything, you fold your seam allowance in, put it together, and do a careful little whip stitch. But I've seen people do facing, and that's great too. So, yeah, folding it over is tricky. The best thing you could do would be get a heat-proof thin ruler or get a piece of the template material that is heat resistant, and that way you need a nice smooth edge. Fold it over and run the iron along. Then you're good. So, but or like a piece of cardstock, something has a nice crisp edge. Fold the fabric over, give it a good iron. All right, so that I'm waiting on my half a yard of the background that I love it. I go to Google. I said, I need Moda Bella Solids Nantucket. Up pops these sources of it, put in the order, and boom, it's on its way. So I feel pretty lucky about that. All right, so I did work on this is going to be the narrow strip landscape, which is really kind of a seascape, but this is going to be it. And you'll see on the pattern, B on those little pieces, that B is for bird. Then you'll see sun. You'll see the sun shining across the water. I've got a blue heron down here. Looks like he's wearing eyeglasses. I'll fix that later, but he's not wearing eyeglasses, I promise. And seagrasses and the pier. And in the image that I used as inspiration, it had like an old rope, a big rope you would tie a board down on. I thought, oh my gosh, I've got cotton roping in here. I can it's 3-ply. I can untwist it, use one of those narrower plies, and put real roping on it. Now, if you don't want to put a great art, I haven't decided how I'm putting my great blue heron or my birds in the sky. I might print on fabric that's made to be printed on with my inkjet printer, cut them out, and applique them on. Because doing those very small would be pretty hard to do. So I might just print them. I've got a couple sheets left upstairs. Y'all know the kind of fabric you can buy that it keeps the ink permanent once you've ironed it. So I think I've got enough left that I can use that. Let's say you've been using it and cutting and saving the leftover. Then just take and put a little school glue on a piece of paper or cardstock so that you can take all your little scraps and put them on a paper and print it out again. That's how cheap I am. But anyway, what I wanted to tell you is what I'm going to do next. Anything like these birds, the sun will be worked in. Oh, there are some tree leaves up there. You're not going to work on that first. You're not going to work on the leaf part here or any of this greenery. You're not going to work on the rope that comes on the edge. You're going to put fabric that matches the dock. You're not going to put the great blue heron on yet, because what you're going to do is you're going to get, now, this, I don't know if I'm going to make it this size or go ahead and make it 4 times this size. If I do, when I draw my bigger pattern, I'll put it on the site for free. All this is free. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw one without the extras. Okay? The things I'll add later. because these plants, I'm going to machine embroidery those on. Okay. The bird, I'm probably going to print and put it on. Then the birds up here, those birds, I'm probably going to print an applique, hand applique. So what I am going to do next, take those off the picture. That was just to show you what you could do. What I'm going to do then, take those off so I have a clear idea of what I'm doing. And I'm going, if you want to enlarge it, you know how to do the 16 square method. I'll show you in just a moment. But once I've got my clean photograph without those things on it, I'm going to take and just start folding by half, by half, by half, deciding how narrow do I want to make the lines. Now, if you don't want to fold it, you could just get a ruler and measure how long you're making your narrow strip landscape, and measure it and divide it by a certain number, how depending on how wide you want your strips to be. Let me see. Hold on just a second. Well, it looks like I didn't quite get this even, but I just want to kind of show you. I'm looking forward to doing this narrow strip. I've shown you before this one that I got out of a magazine, and I just love it because you can really make the colors dance. So I just folded this to kind of give you an idea. Once I decide how many lines narrow the strips are, I'm going to then take a marker and on the pattern, draw the lines. That is going to help me in deciding what color fabrics and what, because I'm going to join different colors on that one strip. I can look and go, there's going to be some yellow in the middle, but the outside is going to be blue waves, and that's going to help me make up my pattern. And I can re-emphasize. Let me show you again. Next week, I'll have started this, and so then I'll show you. But like, let's say that there's a strip right here. Well, this is going to be waves. And this part might be a lighter or darker color. This is going to be the sun reflection. So what I will do is I'll cut the fabrics and stitch them together, or lay them down and fold it under where it meets right here. So I'll have blue, orange, blue, blue, yellow, blue. And so each thing is going to be done with little strips. Now she meets her fabrics with butt edges, nice square edges. Some of mine like this, I might meet at an angle, put them together at an angle, which might take a little bit longer. But like the sky here, where you have a different shade of the blue because it's a cloud, you'll have to know where your line is and know where to add a different piece. But I will show you this next week. Then when your whole background is done, then you can put the things like the leaves in the sky, and you can put the bird on the pier and the rope and the birds up here in the sky and any little extras. Like you might want to make the water a little ripply and might want to have a couple waves, so you can put a little touch of little lace or cheesecloth or whatever. But that all gets added later. And I'm thinking about taking and making a little reverse of this. Is supposed to be a tree line, so I'm going to make it look a little blurry down in the water. I'm thinking of just what kind of things to add to this. Now, then the grasses are going to be done where I'll just stitch. I'll use maybe a decorative stitch on my machine, stitch a stem. I might even hand embroider the leaves on. So this is, I'm just going to add to it. But this way you get to pick your own color. What do you want your sky to be? How dark do you want your water to be? And that would help. So, but you can use your own pattern. Feel free. And like I said on the website, I put images that I found that gave me inspiration of ideas, things I want to add to this. So, and I have an image of a great blue heron. So, anyway, I hope that gives you some kind of idea, but I think that doing it in strip form is going to be a lot of fun. So, trying to you're going to probably print a third one and use it to cut up to have as a pattern. Another thing that I want you to consider, you can take, oh, thank you, Teresa. You're such a sweetheart. I'm going to use a piece of muslin, and this is going to be a foundation piecing piece. Okay. So I'm going to use a piece of muslin. So then when I put the fabrics on, I'm going to glue them or stitch them on the muslin, in strips. If you want to make this a quilt as you go project, then guess what? Just whatever size you make yours, cut the batting and a backing piece. Then pin the muslin and the batting and backing together. And that way, when you make your first strip, you pin that down. When you make your second strip, you put right sides together, stitch it, flip it, press it, keep going. So that way, when you're done, hi, Michelle, sweetheart. I still owe Michelle a phone call. I am terrible. I am terrible. I've got to get my act together. But if you do the stitch and flip method, you could have this quilted by the time you're done, and then just add all your little doodads and make it simple and easy. But once you have drawn on here, you've drawn that line, and I'm on this, if I use this size, each strip is going to be probably cut an inch, and it will end up finishing a half inch. Now, there's, like I say, if you put them right sides together, stitch the 1/4 inch, flip it, then the next piece will cover that next one. So each little strip is going to be, it might have blue and then orange and then maybe a dark orange here. And, you're going to have to, put all the designs. So once you stitch it together, and now this one is a little more abstract. You should kind of spread them out, where I'm going to try to have mine a little more, a little tidier, less, but when you do sunsets, it's the perfect way to get a very dynamic sunset. So this is already on our group's IO. If you aren't a member of the group's IO and you want the free pattern, just remember to write me at OurTime to quilt at twc.com. Okay, there's my email again, and I will send you out a PDF copy of this that you can then print and do whatever you want to. But like I say, print a copy. Now, I know what I was supposed to tell you. There's a way that you can enlarge this, and it's a great way for people to be able to draw things when they feel like that they're not a very good drawer. Let me pull my lamp around, and what I would do is I would take an extra printing of this, I would fold it in half, then I would fold it in half again, and then I think I'm going to fold it this way again, this way in half, and then finally this way. Okay, and just make sure you get nice, sharp edges. Okay, you can press it if you want, and this should make 16 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 16 blocks now for the paper. See them? See the 16 blocks? Then what you do is if I were going to enlarge this, I would probably enlarge it times 4. So a whole sheet of paper would be this section right here. A whole sheet of paper would be this section. Take the little sections and which this one is right here and right here. Okay, so let me do something real quick to make this easy. So it's only this big. Okay, so and whatever, if you're going to put this on, like if you're going to put a quarter of this on a whole sheet of paper, divide your paper. Take your clean paper, your new paper, and fold it in 4 pieces. Fold it so it's 4. Then whatever is in the top left, draw what you see here. It's very easy just to use a small square than to try to draw the whole thing. And each square, just draw in what you see. And that way, it's a way to enlarge. And also, if you find something that you would really love to draw, but you're not a good drawer, there. Oh, I'm sorry, Pat. Your iPad was acting all crazy. So you can enlarge this. I probably will. I'll probably enlarge this 4 times. If I do it, I will put it on our site and leave you a little note saying the new pattern is up. And that way you could just print out the 4 pages, tape them together, and off you go. All right, so that is the narrow strip landscape we're going to do. I didn't want to do anything too tricky because I'd like you to try the technique. See if you like the technique, and then you can move on from there. All right, so now did that. Now, whoops, before we do this, remember last week, if any of you saw the show, I used stencils, and then I used acrylic paint that I put baking soda in, and it made it thicker. And then I was able to use a sponge brush like this and brush the white thickened paint across the stencil, and it left this design, which I think is really cool. So what I've done is I took this piece of fabric, just plain, put this painted fabric in a circle shape on it, and hand appliqued the circle to the plain piece. And what I also did was make the reverse. So somewhere, and if I have all of these puzzle pieces, there is the exact opposite of that. And then what I did, I got all these blocks made, and I took pictures of 2 blocks at a time, really trying to aim that camera straight and square down over it. Because if you take a picture and you're not right over the block, then you will get a skewed block. Then I edited them, tried to make sure they were square, edited them, and this is what, let me see. Okay, here is one that I was going to show you. Here is the square appliqued to the plain background. Here's the stenciled background with a plain circle on it. So see how these are mirror opposites? So that is what I have done. I think this one goes with this one, but I've done mirror opposites. So by printing these pictures of, I think these were opposites, printing all of these out, I can sit here and play like it's a puzzle and decide where I want to put the blocks instead of having to lay everything out on the floor, get down there, move them around, all of that. So I can just sit here and decide, how do I want these to line up? And then when I get a placement I'm very happy with, then what I will do is take a picture of it and then I can then go and sew my actual blocks together and be happy with how they come out. So this is a very easy way to, very, very easy way. And then you know what you can do is afterwards you can let your grandkids play with them and do mystery match. So if they're turned over, they've got to find the one that matches in color. Well, let's see, like these. So if you turn them over, you've got a match. If you turn these over, you've got a match. So that's kind of a fun thing to do. But so they never go to waste. And I like printing the pictures. I use my Word program. I edit the block. I shrink it to the same so they're all the same size. I fit them as tightly on my Word document as I can. And then I print them out. And so you see here they are, nice and neat. So that's good. That is a good method of getting that done. All right. So now, please understand, I'm a beginner hand embroiderer. And so don't expect too much too fast. But I figured, hey, we can learn together. All right. I have this linen blend fabric. I took my what is the glue? Tacky glue. I took the tacky glue, put it on my fingers, and rubbed it down each edge of the fabric because if you use a linen blend, it wants to unravel like mad. So, and then I have some thread heaven here that I run on. Let me get my needle. Where is this cute needle? Okay. So you just take, and I'm working with 3 strands of the embroidery floss, and I just put it on top of the thread heaven, put my thumb on it, and just pull it through. And for me, it just helps slow down the fraying of the floss because you're pulling it in and out of kind of rough. Linen's kind of rough. And you're pulling it in and out of that fabric. These are just getting messy and it's distracting me. So I'm just going to make them tidy. There we go. All right. Also, what has drawn me to hand embroidery, it's something different. You know, I'm the kind of person that I get bored if I do the same thing for too long. And I love the new 3-dimensional embroidery. Now, in saying that, I want you to know, oh, didn't need a nap today. Good, hon. I hope you're staying well. We were talking earlier about the flu and COVID kind of combination that's hitting people. All right, let me bring this up. All right, so I took a linen, it's a linen mix. I think buying pure linen fabric gets a little expensive, so I do it on the cheap. Like I said, I took and put tacky glue on, ran it along this edge, then took my fingers and rubbed it in because this linen fabric is a big open weave. That's why it's good for this. But the bad thing is it wants to unravel. Now, just starting out, then I took this is a water soluble marker, but what I'm going to get is to get some more, or at least one of the ones you iron. I've forgotten what it's called right now. Friction. I want to get a friction pen, and because I don't like this marker left kind of sloppy lines, and I want to just make it small. But I've already tested it, and it does instantly fade when you get a little water on it. So what I did for this stem is I used 3 um, pieces of floss. It still looks a little slender. So I think I just did a long stitch and then did an across the top tack, kind of a tack to hold it down. I think I'm going to change it, and instead I'll show you that before we go. I'm trying to start the new thing of having no knots on the back, because evidently that's the right thing to do. So what you do is you knot your thread, you leave the knot on the top where you can see it, you go over here, make 2 small stitches, then start your stitches, then you can take and cut the knot off once you've gotten going a good bit, and that way you have no knot on the back, no knot on the front. Okay? And if how long that lasts, I'm not going to say, because I can be a lazy kind of quilter crafter. Okay, I'm going to bring the camera down just a touch. What I've done now, so I've done a lazy daisy stitch here on the tops of these. And what I've done then is taken a real long embroidery needle and just stuck it in the fabric. So here it sticks out this much, then it's under, and then the end sticks out down here. So it's right in line with the flower we're going to make. Then I took and I came up from the back right here, went up, looped it over the needle, then came back and went under right there. Now I'm going to start at the bottom, and this is the easiest way. I'm going to bring you over into the light and bring it down just a little bit so you can see and I can hold it. Whoops. I know the memory card is full, but it's okay. All right. So I'm going to do this so you can see. So I'm going to start down here at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is go under this one and over the next one. I'm going to do a weaving. This is if you are interested in 3-dimensional handwork, this is how you do it. And just make sure your stitch is nice. Don't try to pull your stitch too tightly. And it works better if you take the non-sharp part of the needle to run it through, and then go back and do it the other way, and keep them loose because you want the flower to have a little depth. Now, while I'm doing this, I want to tell you about a couple things. One thing I thought about is if you do 3-dimensional hand embroidery, whoops, sorry about that. If you do this, the 3-dimensional hand embroidery, you kind of, how do you display it? You would have to have a shadow frame because some of these flowers will end up sticking out a half of an inch. And then how do you keep, if you don't put a glass over it, how do you keep them clean? So, there's some things to think about. Then the other thing, I think I can use the front of the needle. But the other thing to think about too, that I found out in searching for this, is the very new thing. And so I'm just weaving this under, over, under, over. So see how it gets caught up? And then let me show you nice and close so you can see. Just make sure your stitches aren't pulled too tightly, but just shove them down so they make a nice, you'll see that where it gets woven in the middle. So just a light hand so you don't get these all crunched up, and you just keep going back and forth, under and over. You're doing weaving. A lot of the things that I see them do is, Marcia, some of the flowers, it's like you do like a crochet thing, I've seen them take bits of straw, like a drinking straw, and do the beginning stitches of crochet where you just loop them over and keep them smashed down. I mean, it's just, there's got to be some, if you want it. Whoops, that big needle came out. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, let me put it back in. Now you'll get to see the big needle. Then this has to come back up. That's the only problem with doing it upside down. Okay, I'm going to push this needle down, loop this over the needle, push the needle back. There we go. Okay, because you've got to keep it hooked to the needle until you finish weaving it inside and outside. That coming off kind of got everything tensed back up. Oh boy. Let me see. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start it again. So, let's see. I pulled out the knot, so hopefully. I don't think I'd really anchored anything yet. But one thing I wanted to tell you while I'm getting this straightened out is right now there is a proliferation of AI hand embroidery patterns, and probably knitting and crocheting too, that unfortunately unethical sellers are trying to create these amazing patterns that look so exciting, and the truth is you can't really do them. So be aware. And when we get ready and do our show and tell, I'm going to show you a couple pictures of AI drawn patterns so that you can see what they mean about they're impossible to do. An example would be like of a pumpkin, a pattern of a pumpkin where the stitches curve. Well, hand embroidery stitches do not curve. I mean, you can only do straight lines. That's why when you want to do a curving look, you have to do shorter stitches. All right, I'm going to come back up and just show you. In fact, since we're coming back up, okay, you saw what I did to do that one. Let's see. Come up on this side. Go down on this side, but leave a nice loop. Come down over here. Leave a loop, and then I'm going to get that pin, the needle, and put the dull end at the top. That's the one you're going to run around, and then come down here and push it in. So there we go. All right. So now you'll see this is what it looks like. Okay. So then I'm going to up here, and I'm going to go under this side over this side and just keep it down there. Then I'm going to come under that side and come back over the first one. So what you're doing is you're just kind of doing a little weaving, okay? Don't pull anything too tight, but you don't wait too long to just give it a little snug, but don't do much. You're only going back and forth across these two stitches. And this is supposed to be like a delphinium flower that would have a wider stalk, wide and tall stalk. Then come back and go under and over. Make sure, oops, I think I'm going to need a bigger needle. Needle wanted to come loose again. Okay. Now, when you've done this more than I have, it'll be easier for you to tension it. For me, it's a little tricky trying to do the tension. And if you want to learn how to do this, there are some amazing YouTube videos. That's where I'm learning it. So you can just look at some of these, but make sure you actually see a live human doing it and you're not getting, an AI generated thing. Because I'll show you. I've got like two pictures. And there's even a hand embroiderer who warns you, be careful, AI generated. So you can see now how you just go back and forth, not pulling tightly. Decide, okay, this flower is going to be 1/4 of an inch wide. So make sure you just main thing is just shove it down like this. Okay. Now you keep going back and forth, but you see how you get a woven effect. Keep going back and forth until you get all the way up here. You're nice and tight, doing that last stitch. And then you can take the needle out. This will actually be loose, and your thread, your needle and thread will be up at this end because you'll finish up here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to um, tack this down to the surface, leaving it a little loose to give it a little feeling of movement. Okay? So, isn't this neat? But I thought to myself, if I can do, 3-dimensional flowers, I'm going to enjoy it more. So it gets tacked down here, it's tacked down here, and you can run your finger under it in between. But it's just a matter of weaving, doing under, over. Now, next week, I'm going to show you a 3-strand version of this, which is really cool and I think a little easier because you have 3 strands to go back and forth between instead of just 2. And so it does a more firm, solid weaving. Okay. Now, another thing, I wish I'm not ready to do it, but, well, let me see what I can do. Let me see if I can find a couple more needles because I was going to teach you a bullion stitch, and because along these stems where you have clumps of um, leaves, you are going to put what looks like a little bud, a future flower that has yet to grow big enough. And I I need to talk to Bonnie about how to separate these threads without making a big old mess. But I don't need a very long one. I want to show you real quick how to do a bullion. And nope, it's not something that goes in soup. Okay, and I found I've always done really bad French knots. I have been terrible with French knots. Well, I learned why. When we do a French knot next week, I'll show you at what stage do you hold on to the thread good so that you can pull, because you have to wrap it twice and then pull the thread through. Where you hold it snugly to make sure you get a nice, neat French knot, not loopy, a loopy one. So, okay, I'm just going to do two wraps to make a knot, and then real quick, run it across that thread heaven or beeswax, whatever. All right, so I'm going to pretend right here that I'm going to have leaves passing across this stem. And right here at this leaf node, I'm going to come up and make a bullion. And oops, first I want to come up. I want to leave the knot on the top, come across to the stem I'm going to work on and make 2 small stitches. Make stitches where they're going to be hidden by the actual stem. Then I'm going to show you a better stem stitch that I would rather do than this one that I did here. There are so many new kinds of stitches you wouldn't believe. All right, so I'm going to come up, and then I'm going to wind about 9 times. Wind the thread around the needle, then hold those wrapped threads, pull the needle through, trying to hold them snug enough. It's going to take me some practice. Okay, let me see. They tended to bunch up. This is where, oh, here we go. Okay, I'm loosening them some. You're supposed to be able to hold it. You want to get the bullion down near the base of the stem. Let me show you. Then I'm going to go through over here where I want the bullion to finish. And so it's a matter of taking the thread, wrapping the needle 9 times, pulling the needle through, and now you've got what's called a bullion. And you could do it even more if you wanted to make it bigger. All right, so that's another stitch I wanted to show you today. Now I'm going to thread the other part of this stem and show you just a very simple stem stitch. I call it a stem stitch, but Bonnie, at any point, if you can offer advice or correct terminology, whatever, please do, because I'm learning this along with y'all. Okay, now I'm going to show you what I think is a better way to do a stem. So, let me see. Oops, I want to hide the knot. So I leave the knot on the surface, do 2 small stitches. Like this. Down this way. Now I'm left-handed, so now I come up and I'm going to make a back stitch to here. And there's probably a slightly better way. The main thing you do is you stitch, come back up halfway in the first stitch, and you come up and over like this. And then as you're pulling this down, you can easily see where to come back up along that stitch. So you're just kind of, you make a stitch, you do a half stitch back. And it helps if you get the needle to come up before you pull the loop all the way through. I did not wrap that loop around. You just kind of want them to brush the side of each other. But if anybody, whoops, oh well, just come underneath. You're just kind of doing a stitch and then coming half back. Sometimes if you want to, like I get impatient, what I do is when I'm putting the needle down, I already do that half stitch back. So to me, this is a lot faster, but I don't know if it's kosher in the hand embroidery world. Although knowing me, I don't think I much care, but to me, this is a very good stitch because it has presence. It looks better than just this. But all right. So this is a good old-fashioned. done this stitch for a long time. All right, so there is your stem stitch. And now you might want to, if you're interested in really learning embroidery, you can take a piece of fabric and write the stitches on them and do a practice of them. But they're so easy to find each of these stitches on the internet. And whoops, my needle came out. Let me put it back. But do look up these stitches on the internet, and it has on YouTube, it'll have people doing the actual stitches. But what I want, I'm going to have 3 kinds of 3-dimensional flowers on here for y'all. So right now, this is the delphinium, and they're going to be right here. And I'll try next week to have one of each of the different styles done, and then I'll show you how I made it. All right, guys, and having different colors. Like these delphiniums, you see I have 3 of the purples. That's a good thing. And I have different color of the stem floss for the stems and leaves that I'm going to do. And then there's a couple different ways you can do woven leaves. You can do what's called a fish bone stitch. Some really fun things that make it look much more interesting than the things my grandmother did. So we will get back to every week. Since now I only do 1 show a week, I like keeping 2 projects running at once, so that if you're not interested in one of the projects we're doing, maybe the other one will interest you. All right, so now we showed you that. Now what I want to do is do show and tell and come right back and do the drawing for the patterns. Okay, so let me get set up, turn out the light. We'll try to zip through the show and tell a little bit so we have time to do the drawing. All righty. Oh, and did Bonnie and Charlene figure out how many UFOs they got done this year? Because I would definitely like to give you. Woo! I've got my hearing aids in, and all of a sudden I just got a little tickle. It doesn't do that often. So you didn't get your quilt done for show and tell. Oh, you'll get it done soon. There's always next week. That's what I tell myself, because I've got 3 I want to get a finish on for y'all. So you weren't counting. You weren't. Oh, okay. Well, if I had to guess, I would think Bonnie is our winner. What do you think? Because there's so many things that she's been showing us. I finished this up. Charlene did a pretty good job too. But even Charlene said, I think Bonnie wins. So you always use blue water-soluble markers, even in marking your grid lines for quilting. Okay. It's easier if your stitching is in the center of the hoop. That is true. So, okay, I'm going to do, you finished 3 out of 12. Okay, Bonnie, you think about what you finished. That's pretty good, Charlene. I'm really proud of you. I finished 1. And that's sad. How pathetic is this girl? So just 1. This came on. Let me get this back in. Whoops, it goes up there. All right. Now, if I can get this set up good, we can do show and tell. Boy, he did tighten this arm. Thank you very much, Mr. Mark. He did a great job, because I told him it's been acting up. I know the memory card's full. It doesn't need a memory card. All right. Let's go to show and tell. So, Bonnie, I know that y'all are probably pretty close. So if Bonnie can figure it out, then we'll pick the winner. Okay. And if anybody else that's here did worked on the UFOs, my little one doesn't count. All right. Let's go here. Let's go show and tell. And where is it? There was something here I wanted to show you. Here we go. Before we start looking at everyone's wonderful stuff, I'm going to show you the fake AI designed patterns. These are not real embroideries. Okay? Now, there's several different things you can tell. Here, how do you do these curved, loopy embroideries without having multiple bunches of stitches? Then the stem doesn't look right. But look at the sheen. There really aren't any stitching marks. It's really fine, like a sheen on that. And how in the world were those stitches actually done? If you look at some of these things, it's like laying on it. There are no stitches that penetrate the fabric. So understand that somebody looking at this thinks, oh, I would love to do this. You can't do it. Nothing you do is going to come out looking that good. So now there's other ways too you can tell. What kind of weird loop thing is that, or, fastener here? And then what is this made out of? It's supposed to look like wood, but it's not wood. Is it wood or plastic? Sometimes the tools around it will give you a hint. But trust me, you cannot do these little feathers that perfectly. Some of these things is just, I don't know how they're actually doing it. It's because it's AI and it's a fake. Then this one, okay? Remember I told you, look at the things around it to see if it looks real. Well, these aren't real. Look at the gold. It's like it's got a hard gold band on it. And look at the way the threads, that's odd looking. Then over here, is that supposed to be a needle? But where does the thread come through? See how it looks like it's supposed to be a needle, but then there's this partial thread, but that's not a needle. It's it's weird. And then how would you use those scissors? You'd never get them closed. See how they're open and the metal's touching? So I that is some weird pair of scissors. And then in the yarns down here, you can tell they're very fakey. They do not look in any way real. They look like colored spaghetti more than yarn. But then you look, and how in the world would you do all these weaving and designs and the designs on the books? And then this poor plant, it's not sitting on a shelf, it's just floating. If someone were designing this, they wouldn't have things floating around. So just know that this is an AI drawing. This is not real. Look at this spool of thread up here. What the heck's going on with that thread? What is this end of the spool? What is that end? They don't even belong together. So these are your hints that you're looking at a totally fictitious pattern. There is no pattern for that, and there's no way you can make that. All righty. So, and like this doesn't look right. I don't know what that, you know, it's just, does it look like tools you can get? Nope. All right. So I just wanted to let you know, because you would be spending good money on a pattern that you couldn't use. Okay, now back to show and tell. All right. Alberta, who did 3 of her UFOs. I'm impressed, Alberta. And here is, I keep saying it's the last showing of her Alaska quilt, but it's just so cute. I just love it. Love, love, love it. And I'm so glad she got to take that cruise with her sister for her birthday. All right. And I think I just got Alberta and Charlene mixed up. I apologize for that, but it was Charlene who did the 3 things, and that's exciting. Miss Bonnie. Miss Bonnie, I hope you figured out how you want to do this quilt, and we can't wait to see what you decide for that finish. Now let me see what else Miss Bonnie has. And I thought, well, okay. Then here was the finish of her dragon. I'm sorry it's a little fuzzy. The picture was taken, was really small, but I just wanted you to see her dragon. It's just lovely. And I bet you anything she did her own quilting on this. So way to go, Miss Bonnie. Miss Bonnie is a busy, resourceful, hardworking person. Okay. Then, oh, I love this. Now, this would have been a really, well, I guess there's not enough going on to do a thin line landscape, but isn't that sweet? I just love that. One day that quilt's going to be on my bucket list. Okay, let's see. Now, Miss Julie, I love this. Look at what Miss Julie sent. And look how she hung it from a birch branch. Isn't that wonderful? I love that kind of thing. And how well does that work? And this is Ron the Trapper. So he must be walking between his traps to see what he got. But isn't that wonderful? Way to go, Miss Julie. You are so talented. Then you saw this before, but it's worth another look. And look at this Silent Night Country Church. Isn't that lovely? You have done a beautiful job of creating the snow, Miss Julie. Beautiful. And look at this one. This is Todd's quilt. I guess she made this for, is it a grandson or son? And he's he must be a hunter too. But isn't that lovely? And look at the branch she hung it from. Isn't that great? There's all different ways to display quilts, and especially when it can be connected with the subject of the quilt. How wonderful. All right. Now let's see. Make sure I haven't missed anyone. And then let's see. Miss Mary. Yeah, I can't wait. I assume she's talking about finishing her English paper piecing. And I want to hurry up and get mine finished so we can start our next one. But I am loving English paper piecing. So way to go, Miss Mary. Good job. All right, let's go back to show and tell. And Marsha Hahn. Okay, she was showing us pictures of the Austin Quilt Show. Let me see what I can do here. Let me get them. Oops. Yeah, get it a little bit bigger. Okay. Let me see if I can go through these pretty quickly. And because these are, I hate to miss pictures of a quilt show. Nice Bargello. Oh, look at this. Bunch of little stones. Isn't that cool? Little river rocks. Oh, look at this. Look at those pelicans. And look at the shadows on the wet sand. Beautiful. That's why I always get so inspired. There's another pelican. Love it. Look at this cactus with the flowers. Thank you, Marsha Hahn, for taking that time to send us these. Look at that owl. Looks like partridges and pear cactus. beads and buttons must have been a display. And oh, I love these triptychs. Really nice. Beautiful quilts. Whoops. Now, what just happened? I'm going to have to go backwards a little bit. Oh, this is, you have to turn your head for that one. Oh, look at these colors. You can tell that the show is from Tucson because of the wonderful desert colors. Aren't they wonderful? Oh, look at this. That is a wonderful scene. Very talented people. Oh, a color wash. I love it. Look at all of these. Okay, now think. Yeah, okay, so now what I have to do is go find that picture so I can move on from there. Um, 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 um. um okay, well, I'll start here. Just I don't want to miss any that I can help it. I love that and the beautiful use of subtle fabric. Oh, I love that too. Oh, moon on the mountain. Bear. No, that's a tulip paw. I started to say bear paw, but not. Oh, look at that one. Sorry that it's crooked. If I had time, I would turn it to show you, but maybe during the week. Oh, look at that. I love that. I've always loved geckos. That's so cute. A modern quilt. Amazing. Oh, I love that. Judy Niemeyer, I think, was that quilt. Isn't that pretty? Oh, definitely has a Arizona flare. That quilt was buttons. Oh, isn't that beautiful? A braid like a stained glass window. This is nice too. Mm, beautiful. Look at all of those scenes. Fall leaves, falling leaves. Great t-shirt quilt. Oh, look at this type of color wash. Oh, look at this. No wonder I'm in the mood for rainbows. Mm. Oh, I love it. And the threads coming down that replicate the colors. Look at that. Isn't that fascinating? Oh, look at that. Western stars. Neat. Oh, pretty. Love ombre fabrics. Oh, look at that. That is so cute. Mm. Leaves and butterflies. Look at that cactus. I'm sorry, some of these. Maybe what I'll do, I'll see if I have time to turn these around. But that is, oh, look at that. I've always wanted to make something like that. I don't know why it just really appeals to me. Oh, tropical double wedding ring. Mm, a basket quilt. Oh my. These are depicting slaves picking cotton. How amazing. Wow. It's good to remember what cotton was like at first in this country. Oh, pelican. I love it. Ooh, that's cool. Baltimore album. Mm. Alaska. Oh, neat. Oh my gosh, look at that elephant. That is awesome. I love the houses. Desert landscape. Oh, wow. Bees and flowers. Oh, that's pretty. Nice applique work. Gorgeous. Uh, Arizona. I love seeing quilts that show pride of place. It is very nice. It's nice to see people happy and proud. Look at that lion. That is gorgeous. I think that's another Judy Niemeyer. A dragon? Is that a dragon flying through? Oh. Mm-mm-mm. Hummingbird. Great circles. Oh, an undersea quilt. This is great. Thank you so much. It is so hard. Let me tell you, if you've ever tried to take pictures of all the quilts in a quilt show, it is very hard to do. People walking by, people dashing in front of you, and you feel like you have to snap them. So, oh, that is so cute. You feel like you have to snap the pictures so fast. It's really, really hard to do. Oh, doxies. I love it. Just great. Mm. Oh, look at that sunset. These are so nice. Mm. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to try to rework this, but I'm glad you're getting to see it. Even though it's not optimum, oh, look at that hummingbird. You get a chance to get the idea of these quilts. Whoops, I went by too fast. Back up just one. Oh, look at that. New York beauty curved this way or that. Mm. Sticks. I remember seeing people do stick quilts. Oh, that's cute. Oh, pretty. I think that's the last one. So thank you, Marcia. You really did a good job under trying circumstances, and we've seen them all, and they are wonderful. Great job. Okay, back to show and tell. I'm so glad I finally got because it was so sweet of her to take those, and I wanted to make sure we saw them. All right, here is Miss Melanie's quilt folder. I love that table runner. This is where her and her husband went over Christmas. They went to Mackinac Island, headed to the Mackinac, going over the Mackinac Bridge. Look at that. And then she's making cuffs for people with memory problems because they're fidget cuffs and they're wonderful because textures really help comfort people who have memory problems. So that's really, look at that. That's awesome. I love it. Then look at Miss Willow. Is she just the sweetest thing? Who could not love that face? Look at her. Right at Mama's sewing machine. Whatever Mama's doing, she's got to try to do too. Is that the cutest? And this is what Don made, and it is wonderful. He started quilting right before she retired, and he is doing a great job. So way to go, good work. Thank you so much for sending those pictures. All right, I think we're just about through, and then we're going to do our drawing for free patterns. All right, let me see. I don't think we got any new Meltons. Let me see. This one. Oh, we love all of hers. This is her latest piece of art, and it is amazing. I love what she does. She's very talented. All right, now let me see. I think there might did Mitty have, oh, Mitty being such a good listener, an amazing listener, when I was talking about the free samples of upholstery fabric that I got off the freebie table at the Myrtle Beach quilt party. I was talking about how people are using these upholstery fabrics in their landscape quilts, in their art quilts. And this is a friend of hers who has these quilts with upholstery fabrics on her wall. So she took pictures so we could see that. And the neatest thing about upholstery fabrics, with art quilt, everything goes. And here is another example. And the thing is, everything goes, and upholstery fabrics can give such texture. So it's really a wonderful thing. So thank you so much, Mitty. Now, let's see. Patricia Fry had the cutest. I love her little truck, her refurbished toy truck, and it celebrates every holiday. So here she is ready for Valentine's Day. And I think that is so, so cute. And her husband's wonderful photo. I just love that. And hopefully he is doing a little better, and Patricia is feeling pretty good. And no, I don't think that's anything new. I think we are done. I heard from SJ and I heard from SJ in one of the comments under, was it last week's show? And oh, it's so nice. I miss y'all when you're not there. I really do. Okay, so now what we're going to do is do a drawing for, let me get back to y'all. We're going to do a drawing. So, oops, whoops. Okay. This one is Sarah QFS. Sarah QFS. Okay. I'm going to lay these out. And then if you see something you like, QFS for Sarah. It's a confetti quilt. I'll lay these out, and if you see something you want, you holler for it. Okay. Let me move these back. Wonder if we still have a Sarah that's around. Oh my goodness gracious. I don't even know how many people we still have on here, but I will lay these out. Okay. And so just be ready to say which one you want. And I will make sure to mail them out to you. I don't know what this 18 Sparrow was. Okay, whoops. Comes undone all the time. Okay, I got to ask him to tighten that up. All right, here we go, people. All right, So, whoops. Oh, hi, Mare. All right. So here we have a cute little angel project. Here is beautiful irises. I'll show them all to you, and then you tell me if you see one. This, I guess, is for this quilt right there. This is a Southern Mammy quilt. So let me know if that's anything you might be interested. Here is a sunflower and a frog riding a turtle. Here is this quilt. Here's a by the sea quilt pattern. Here are flowers with a hummingbird. I have 2 of these iron-ons that say the only thing I love more than quilting is being a grandma. I have 2 of these. I have, for cat lovers, I have I Never Quilt Alone. I have cats. Then there's this wonderful strip search, it's called, pattern. A connecting threads pattern. Indigo miniatures. Here's April Sunshine pattern. Table runner, reversible table runner pattern. A garden party pattern. And this confetti pattern. This confetti pattern. Oh my goodness. There's 2 different colorways you can choose. Although you choose whatever colorway. All right. So there is what I have. Now, if you saw something that you would like, you just holler and I'll put your name on it. And then I can get it mailed out to you. So, Mare loves the very first one. The little, would that be this angel here? So that's Mare, okay. Anyone else? What would you like? So I got this ready for Mare. Bonnie likes the garden party. Okay. Oh, I did. Yeah, that's nice, Bonnie. Okay. And did Bonnie ever figure out how many things she did? Okay. And then who else? The speckled one in the middle. Is it this one? Starts with an L. Keep telling me. Let me see. Confetti, hummingbird. Oh, this the Landino? This one? Okay, great. All right. Who else wants? I want to make sure that anybody who wants one, please speak up for it. Gingerbread and Iris. April Sunshine. This free ride, a frog riding a turtle with a sunflower. This is a Southern Mammy quilt. I worried about that one, but I thought, well, I don't know. Somebody might like it. Here's, okay. All right, good. Thank you, Bonnie. I thought Bonnie won. Bonnie is the winner of our UFO. Bonnie, what shop would you like me to get a gift certificate, or would you like just the amount of the gift certificate and you can go to your own store? Whatever you want. Here's tea towel hummingbird pattern. Marsha likes the cats. Okay. And this is, it irons on a tote or a sweatshirt or t-shirt, whatever. So I'm hoping this is what you meant. You're never alone. You have cats. So that would be from Marsha. Okay. All right. Then we've got a reversible. We've got this blanket. We've got grandma things of quilting. Got a confetti quilt, strip search. So now put them. Anybody see anything you want? And you know what? I do want to get these sent out. So if you see another one, even if I'm already sending you one, if you see another one, it's just as cheap for me to send that out to you. Because I've taken too long to get these ready. Anybody else? Oops, you can't see all this. Let me bring them. Even if you've already picked one. All righty. That's from Miss Mary too. All right, and I'll put the other one in. Okie dokie. You're very welcome. And congratulations, Miss Bonnie. And I tell you what, congratulations to Charlene for being a close second. I am very tickled. Okay, I got Mary's. So now I'll keep moving these a little closer. Okay. Anything else? Don't feel like you have to take it. Bonnie likes the hummingbird one. That is cute. That is precious. All right, that works for Miss Bonnie. All right, so I can save these other ones. We'll check again next week unless there's something else you're thinking that you would like, any of you. And very good. All right. What the other iron-on? Sure. These say the only thing I love more than quilting is being a grandma. And there's two of them. So, anybody else, let me know, and then we'll get ready. And if I need your address, I will let you know. Sure you can, Miss Mayor. Sure. Sure you can. And these are ones I'm giving away, and I'll show you some others I have next week. This is Mayor. All right. Great. Thank you. Thank you. This is fun. Yeah, these were given to me, and I wanted to pass them on to you by Cindy Sullivan, a sweet lady in Kernersville. And so when they're given to me, I like to pass them on, give them to y'all. All righty. All righty. Okay. And now I know what stores, Missouri Star, thousands of bolts. And there was one more that she said that she liked. Okay. All right, guys. No, you may not pay for the postage, sweet mare. These will, let me tell you what's so great about giving away these patterns. They can go out media mail. And if I have enough large envelopes, they ship so cheaply. It's not like a real packet. Fabric's expensive to send because it's heavy. But anyway, that's great. Well, thank you, Jordan Fabrics. Okay, that was the other one. All right. I think we have done a nice job rounding up. We'll put these out next week again for anybody else, but we've done a very good job of taking care of business that was sitting around too long. All right, everybody. Joe Sows, hi. Oh, Joe, did you see anything on here that you would like, sweetie? I'll put it over here while I get ready to tell you goodbye. This is an iron-on that says the only thing you love more than quilting is being a grandma. Then there's this pattern. There's this pattern with irises. This by the sea, a confetti quilt, reversible table runner, cute little sunflower with a frog riding a turtle, April sunshine. Any of these patterns that you would like, and you can, Miss Jo, you can pick more than one too. The bird quilt is cute. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm almost done. I ran out of fabric because I put sashing on it that it didn't call for. So I'm now waiting for a half a yard more to come in. Sunflower, okay, and iris. Super, 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 super. Terrific. These are for... This is fun. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you for whoever told Mary. Thank you for pointing out that Joe So is here because she's our sweetheart. We like Joe So to get good gifts. All right. There we go. So I will try to get those out. And I tell you, it's so cute because Mark and I are getting into the groove of the retirement. Lisa, what would you like? April Sunshine. Absolutely. Is there a second one you like, sweetie? Because you're such a doll baby anyway. So if there's a second one, let me know. And Lisa. But this is for Bonnie and this is Lisa. Okay. All right. This is great. I am so happy. I've been off kilter and it's nice to get stuff done. Is there... So, all right. If anybody else would like any, just give me a holler. Otherwise, they'll be here for next week. Oops. All right. Yes, you may, Mayor. You sure may. The table runner. Here it is. I'll put it with Mayor's and yeah. That's it's kind of hard to pretend that, it's like, okay, Lisa, was there anything else you saw? Because like I told him, when I put an envelope, I can put in several things. And Lisa, I'm trying to get my strip search. Great. I am trying to get my English paper piecing done so we can get ready and start that second one. I can't wait to do it. I've forgotten the name now, but I think it came from the Yellow Rose of Texas shop. So, okay, this has been it was so funny. This morning I was thinking, I just feel discombobbled and I've got so much to get done that I'm, falling behind on. And I'm so glad I stuck with it because I would have missed today's show. And y'all are the best. So thank you. Odds are against it. I'll never forget our Michelle thought is she ever gonna, she's never gonna have grandkids. And she wanted grandkids so badly. And all of a sudden, she had moved down here to retire and everything. And then her oldest son decided, he married a lovely woman, decided to have they decided to have children. And guess what? She moved back away to be with those babies. And I don't blame her one bit, because they are three wonderful grandchildren. So that was interesting. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to work hard this week, starting the thin strip landscape seascape. I'm going to work some more on the hand embroidery, because I'm really, wait till you see some of the flowers that stick out from the piece. They're pretty fascinating. But just when you think you know everything that's out there, some young person comes along and decides to engineer an entire new area of craft. So that's what the best parts of life are. Hang in there, everybody, and put energy into what you love best, because, it's a pretty good world, pretty good life, and we're not guaranteed anything. So let's keep doing what feeds our soul and feeds our mind and keeps our hands busy. All right, everybody, I'll see you next Sunday with some more exciting things to look at. Bye bye, everyone. You are the best. Thank you. Bye, everybody. I love you all. You are the best.